I knew I wanted to be a veterinary surgeon from a very early age because I had this passion for animals and I did quite well at school and I ended up at veterinary college. Almost from day one I realised that although I wanted to be a veterinary surgeon, I actually was not passionate about treating sick animals. What I really wanted to do was develop systems where animals didn't get sick. So for instance, systems where animals didn't have their tails chopped off or their beaks chopped off or they weren't put in crates and cages. That was really my passion. And then we set up this business that I'm standing in now. I'm a founding director in this business. And the business carried on that work. That's what the business was about. How do we feed our world sustainably? And the business floated 4 years ago. And because of the float, I received some money. And when I received that money, I set up Sankalpa. I work with a financial advisor and he did some research for me and he suggested that I look at the Oxfordshire Community Foundation. And really that came on the back of, you can imagine, if you receive money and you want to set up a trust, 1 million lawyers come out of the woodwork and offer to do that for you. And it was going to be expensive. It's been a fantastic mechanism for us. It's been very simple, it's not been expensive. I effectively have a board of trustees as a charity and they say yes to most of the things I want to do. Not everything, but not enough no's to make it a problem for me at all. So it's been a really, really simple and good process from my point of view. A lot of food that we eat and purchase in Oxford now is not produced locally, but much more of it could be produced locally. And people do want to buy local food, but it's the accessibility to it that is quite difficult. So we've got involved with Good Food Oxford, which is like an umbrella organisation for food companies within the Oxford area, and also specifically with Cultivate, which is a vegetable selling small local food company. People are involved in all of that as well. So the eggs that we sell off the farm, for instance, Farmability, which is a charity that we've supported through Sankalpa, they do a lot of the work with the eggs. They collect the eggs, they grade the eggs, they pack the eggs into boxes and they do some of the delivery. And these are adults with learning difficulties and it gives them real proper work that is useful to society. Oxford is a really interesting area because it's got every single demographic that you might think of. It's got wealthy people, it's got relatively poor people. It's a very interesting area in terms of food and food poverty. How do we get fresh food into some of the big housing estates on the outskirts of Oxford? And so there's a whole area that we're looking at right now as to how we might help integrate that and get more quality food into people generally in the Oxford area. Looking at the whole housing situation in Oxford, which many people are aware of, it is very difficult. People on low incomes and benefits cannot even afford to rent a room in Oxford, even with the help that they get. There's a real serious issue about people on the streets and in unsuitable housing in Oxford. But basically what we're trying to do is to help the system with affordable housing in Oxford, truly affordable housing in Oxford, so that more people can have the homes that they require. Probably my favourite area of work for Sankalpa, which covers all the projects that we do really, is how we as human beings interact with each other and how we develop. We're encouraging our clients in the business and in the work that we do through Sankalpa to think of themselves as citizens. There's a whole move now which people are really responding to, which says, okay, if I think and act as a citizen, then I can do something for the greater good, and actually that's a benefit to me and my children and my grandchildren, etc. going forward. So after 4 years of operating Sankalpa, we have a portfolio of projects. Many of those are at a point where they can be scaled and we can bring them to more and more people. So what we realise, obviously, when we start to do that, A, we need a lot more money, so we're looking for people that can help us do that, and B, we're going to have to operate a different system where we monitor and evaluate. I feel strongly really that there are community foundations, I realise, all over the world, and I'd like to recommend them to people going forwards because I think it's a nice community. I think we could strengthen that community, and certainly in other parts of the world people do need support.